The village of Adumfi rested between the whispering palms and the restless sea. Each morning, the sound of roosters rose with the tide, calling fishermen and palm tappers to their daily rhythm. Among them was Kojo, the humble palm wine maker, whose hands were rough, but whose heart was gentle. His daughter, Ama, often followed him at dawn, her bare feet damp with dew, her laughter as light as the morning wind. Alma was her father's pride, the light of his lonely hut since her mother's passing. She grew up watching the sea's moods, learning that calm waters could turn fierce without warning. It was there, at the edge of the ocean, that she first met Kweku, a young fisherman who always hummed while casting his net. Their friendship began in shy glances and simple greetings, like waves brushing the shore before the tide deepened. Kojo often sold his sweet palm wine to the fishermen after their catch. Kweku always lingered longer than the rest, pretending to examine the gourds while stealing glances at Alma. Her smile made his heart stumble like a wave hitting rock. Alma noticed too the way Kweku's hands moved gently when he untangled his nets, and the soft kindness behind his laughter. They talked about small things, the color of the sunset, the smell of rain, the dream of owning a boat. Kojo would laugh, calling them children of the sea, never guessing how deep the tide between them had grown. When evening came, Kweku always walked her halfway home, never beyond the old baobab. That tree became their silent witness to the birth of a love that neither had words for. The old baobab tree had stood for centuries, its roots drinking from the buried stories of the land. Alma often sat beneath it, weaving palm fronds as she waited for Kweku to return from the sea. He always came with stories of fish that glowed like silver in the moonlight, of storms that spoke in thunder, of a dream to build a boat that would bear his name. One evening, as the sun burned gold over the waves, Kweku placed a smooth shell in her hand. "So you remember me," he said, smiling shyly. Alma blushed and tucked it in her cloth. That night, she fell asleep listening to the sea's rhythm, a love song older than both of them. But love doesn't feed the belly. Kojo's health began to fail, and the palm trees yielded less each season. The family owed debts to a trader named Mensa, a man who smiled with his mouth, but not with his eyes. One afternoon, Mensa came to their home. His robe was white, his sandals fine, and his words sweet as honey. He admired Alma openly, saying, "A flower like you shouldn't wilt in poverty." Kojo lowered his eyes in shame. That night, Alma wept silently beside the dying embers. Kweku held her hand beneath the stars and whispered, "One day, I'll build my boat. I'll bring riches from the sea. Wait for me, Ama." She nodded, though her heart trembled like a leaf in the wind. Before dawn, Kweku pushed his small canoe into the dark waves. Alma stood by the shore, clutching the shell he'd given her. "Come back soon," she said. He smiled. "When I return, I'll have enough to ask for your hand properly." The wind carried his promise across the waves. Days passed. Weeks followed. Alma waited by the shore each evening, her heart counting tides. Some in the village mocked her, "The sea has swallowed your fisherman." But Alma only looked to the horizon, believing the sea that took him would bring him back. Mensa returned with gifts, sacks of rice, beads, and fine cloth. "Marry me, Ama," he said before her father, "and your family will never thirst again." Kojo's weary eyes filled with tears. "My daughter," he whispered, "we are drowning in debt. This man offers a lifeline." Ama's chest tightened. That night, she prayed beneath the baobab, the shell pressed to her lips. "Kweku," she whispered to the wind, "come back for me." But only the rustle of leaves answered. By dawn, she saw her father's shaking hands, and her heart broke under the weight of love and duty. The drums beat for 3 days. The village danced, but Alma's smile never reached her eyes. Mensa paraded her through the crowd, proud and triumphant. Kweku did not return. No letter came. No boat appeared on the horizon. As the sun set on her wedding night, Alma looked out from her new compound, the scent of palm wine drifting faintly from afar. "Love," she whispered, "forgive me." Mensa kept his promise. Ama's family ate well, wore fine cloth, and lived in comfort. Yet her heart grew emptier each day. The laughter of the sea was gone from her ears. Mensa was kind in public, but cold in private. He cared for wealth more than warmth. At night, when the house slept, Alma sat by her window, holding the shell Kweku gave her, listening for waves that no longer answered her name. Seasons passed. Alma bore no child, and Mensa grew distant. The villagers whispered. Some said she was cursed, others said the sea had marked her. One evening, an old fisherman brought news. A young man named Kweku built his boat, but he vanished in a storm. Ama's breath caught. Her knees gave way. The shell slipped from her hand and cracked against the floor. That night, she didn't cry. She simply sat in silence, as if her soul had gone out to sea and never returned. Years rolled on like waves. Alma aged quietly, her beauty softening into sorrow. Her father had long passed, and Mensa's wealth no longer comforted her. Every evening, she still visited the baobab tree, though her legs trembled. The villagers called her the woman who waits for ghosts. But Alma knew, love that was true never dies. It only changes shape. Some nights, she thought she heard Kweku's voice in the wind, whispering across the shore. Wait for me, Ama. The sea remembers. And she waited. Always.